Welcome, one and all, to our Unitarian Universalist religious community, and blessed Ostara. There we go, blessed Ostara. It is the spring equinox has come, spring is on its way, and today it might look like it. That's so exciting. That was after the shortest spring that we had like a week ago, so second spring is on its way. Oh, huzzah, huzzah. We welcome spring and we welcome you. I'm Reverend Michelle Buhait, the minister of this congregation. My pronouns, which I offer to create a truly inclusive and brave space for all to live into the fullness of their identities, are she and her. Today, I am serving as a worship associate for our guest speaker, Petra Page-Mann, and you'll hear more about Petra a little later. You have found your way to UU Amherst. I see folks with conspicuous name tags, which means that you made it here maybe for your first time. And that is an accomplishment. It's very easy to drive past because it's very hard to see us. It's like, beautiful sign. Oh, wait, that was the church. So you made it. You made it physically, emotionally, spiritually. What great courage, what great heart you have exhibited, all of you, by being here today. We welcome you, whoever you are, whatever tradition, gender, race, sexual orientation, social status, age, or any other identity marker that you represent. In our presence, may you move in ways of truthfulness, service, and holiness. And through all your times in our presence, may you experience love. UU Amherst is an emerging congregation, creating a warm and welcoming place for all ages and stages of life to explore that which is of ultimate importance to us. In this gathering, you will find deeply curious and caring people, and we may not all agree on what to call that which is of ultimate importance to us, but we make it our practice, our religious practice, to create the conditions where that exploration can take place. We envision members and friends of UU Amherst as pilgrims, traveling on life's journey together, creating shared ministry through which we can grow our souls in ways truthful to ourselves, caring of others, and sustaining of the planet. And now comes our small commercial break. For those of you gathered in the chapel, I urge you to actually turn off your phone, or at least put it on airplane mode while you're here. I know that's frightening. They are security blankets. So we do this not only so you can be held in rapt attention without being buzzed or dinged or any of the other sounds that our phones make, but also because our Wi-Fi is a little bit wobbly. And we have folks who are joining us on the live stream and who will join us later in the magic of time meaning nothing as they join on YouTube. And we want them to have the best experience that they can also have. Welcome, onliners. If you need a little extra hearing support, we have assisted hearing devices right back at the usher station. And please feel free to borrow one for the service. Everything about our time together has been crafted to create a cohesive experience. So let yourself arrive and relax, knowing that you are among friends. I offer some opening words from Monica Jacobson Tennyson, the heart of our faith. What is it that calls you here, that calls you onward, that calls you inward, that leads you homeward? What is it that gives the power to make that change, to ask that question, to take that journey? What is it that says you have done well, that asks you to learn more, that brings you to stillness, that holds you up in hard times? It is relationship, the beating heart of our faith. It begins when we share this hour, our truths, this air, our hearts. So come, let us worship together. So let us continue our breathing and arriving by making music together, reminding ourselves and one another of the love that will never break faith with us. Our gathering music can be found in the gray hymnal, number 207, Earth Was Given as a Garden. It's always a bit of a challenge to bring beloved old hymns in line with changing sensibilities and a wider inclusion. If you are following along in the hymnal, you might want to look up at the slides up front in verse 2, where the line, "Gently guide your sons and daughters," has been modified to "Gently guide us in the Spirit." And you don't have to remember anything because it's all up on the slides. So please rise and bow to your spirit and let's sing together. seated. Wow. Is this working?
Yeah, it's working.
Okay, good. I'm just checking.
Is it loud enough?
I don't know. I don't know if it's loud enough. I don't hear myself there, I hear myself. Okay. I get a little nervous because I can feel myself talking, but if I can't hear myself. Okay, if the Miles family would please join me up front. Gabe and Rebecca and their daughter Quinn have been part of the UU Amherst family for about 6 months, give or take. I just made it up. I could have checked. And I've gotten to know them a little bit in our conversations, and we've played a pretty wild, no-rules game of pigs on trampolines and a fun and games day, which another one is coming up. They're here today to help us move from a time of welcoming into centering as we employ the elements of water and fire to create the sacred space where we can be fully present. We begin with an acknowledgement that our church is built on holy ground, land that was nurtured and cultivated by those who occupied it before us. So Quinn, very nice. We offer this libation as our giveaway, as we honor the struggle of all people seeking justice and peace. We seek the courage and the wisdom to heal the wounds of the past and build a better future story together with all our neighbors and fellow creatures. It is also our custom when we gather to light a chalice. The chalice is a cup or a vessel that symbolizes the gathered community and is the symbol of our Unitarian Universalist faith. So as Quinn lights the flame, I invite you to join me in our chalice lighting words. We gather this hour as people of faith, with joys and sorrows, gifts and needs. We light this beacon of hope, sign of our quest for truth and meaning, in celebration of the life we share together. Thank you. Great job. Each week, as we bring our whole selves into this sacred time, we bring our joys, our concerns, our sorrows. We can feel pretty complicated. There is a lot going on in our world, in our hearts, in our lives. And this is a time when we can gather in this beloved community, knowing that we are held in love and trust. And we can, if even for just a few minutes, lay down our burden or put down a stone that says, I'm so happy, because we have it all. So as the music plays, I invite you to come forward as you will and to place a stone or a shell on the table labyrinth. It's a messy process. There are a lot of us. It is a small space. And I've made it so you can only go 3/4 of the way around, so that our online folks who see us through a camera up here that you may not have noticed can also feel like they are participating and not necessarily looking at the back of heads. So, as I said, as the music plays, do come forward. As is my practice, I place the final stone in shell in honor of the joys, concerns, and sorrows that our friends online may be carrying, and knowing that they are held in this community. Let's share a few breaths as we expand our circle to include those who may not be present, but whose presence we feel. We bring into our circle of love and care those who are ill and those who are caring for them, those who are in pain, either in body or spirit, those who are lonely, those who are overwhelmed and feeling lost, those who have been wronged. May our hearts remain tender, even as we would be so tempted to create a wall around them. And may we live and move from that place of tenderness with courage, with heartfelt goodness. May we find strength and peace and the courage to carry on and to help others do the same. Amen, and blessed be. Our musical meditation can be found in the Teal hymnal. It's number 1011. Return Again. This is a song in two parts. Those of you who know me are starting to feel a little anxious, huh? Oh no, here we go. And we are going to try to do it in a round. And I haven't figured out how we're going to end it. And so we will do it an appropriate number of times. But we will all end up singing just the first bit, the return again, return to the home of your soul. So if you get lost in the round, just keep singing that first phrase, because then we'll all end up at the same place. Okay? I have great faith in all of us. So, Rick, if you would play the whole thing through once, we'll sing it all together once, and then the madness will begin. And this is a meditation, so feel really quiet about it, okay? And then that repeats. Don't sing yet, just listen to it, imagine yourself singing. Then it will go to part two, just listening. And that repeats. Okay, so are we good? Does the second part repeat? It does? Okay, I'm just clarifying so that I haven't told you a terrible lie. Let's sing together and things will happen. Here we go. With some sort of intro, yeah. Here we go. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Part two. Return to who you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again. Repeat. Return to who you are, return Part 1. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Return again, return again, return to this home of your soul. Return to where you are, return to what you are, return to where you are, born and reborn again, return to who you are, return to what you are. Just do verses 1. Return again, everybody, return again, return to the home of your soul. Last time, return again, return again, return to the home of your soul. Thank you for remembering the nummy sound. Okay. It's time. Bring them on. It's time. It's time for some wondering. Oh my goodness. Can we have some wonderers? There's going to be a surprise up here for people who wonder. Cece, this way. Come this way.
All right, we're going to wait till we have a couple more wonderers. Perfect. All right, do we have any wonders that want to come down? Any more? All right, I'm going to start so everyone can sit down right here. We're going to need a little space. Cece, you want to sit right next to Quinn? Hey, Leo, come take a seat. What is happening? What is in here? What is in here? I don't know what this is. Yeah. Thanks. What is this? A leaf? What kind of leaf? Does anyone know what this is? Is it lettuce? Looks like lettuce. Feels like lettuce. It's lettuce. Not my favorite lettuce either. Ooh, it's spicy lettuce. Does anybody, we did not plan this, by the way. Does anybody grow a garden at home? Does anyone grow lettuce? Raise your hands if you grow a garden at home. Wow, lots of gardens.
Wow.
And what makes a garden grow? What does it need? Water. Good. Anything else? Sunshine. Did I hear sunshine back there somewhere? Sam? What? Seeds. Seeds. It needs seeds to grow. It needs plants. Some water and some soil. Oh, rainwater. Oh, rain is very helpful because then we don't have to water it ourselves. Birds.
And worms.
Oh, worms. Yes, worms are more important than birds. So, what if I told you that in this room there's a garden? Would you believe me? No, you wouldn't.
We'll look for it.
All right, where do you think it is? Everyone stay seated, but look around. Where do you think it is? Are you ready to see it? You are?
Can we go up and over? Yep.
Wow. Did you know that this could be a garden? You did? I didn't. So, this whole alien-looking thing is a self-containing system called a tower garden. It doesn't look like an alien? Oh, it does. Yeah, it looks even more like an alien when it's plugged in. So these rods right here are lights that help the plants grow. And this basin down here holds water, and it pulls the water all the way up here, and then the water trickles down to all the plants so that they all can grow. Isn't that cool? So we have a visiting tower garden expert in-house, Annie Ehrman. Annie's raising her hand. She's up here. Yay. We could clap for Annie because we're very grateful. So she is going to help us make our own garden. Sorry, grown-ups. This is only in faith development. But you can come see it anytime you want. And I encourage all of you, old and young and in between, to check out the garden after service and ask questions. I'll be poking around a little bit, but shoot me an email or come down to the faith development room to see how things are growing. We're going to start with little seeds. We're going to pick little seeds today, and we're going to grow them into big plants. Perfect. All right, so let us sing our song to faith development, and then we're going to go have fun. Does anyone want to bite? No, I'm just kidding. You don't want the lettuce.
And I need your mic. Actually, we give it to Petra. Go in, let's go with you. Go. Where else but at UU Amherst do you get to hear Little Shop of Horrors? I first met our guest speaker about 3.5 years ago at our first Living Green Festival, when she shared her passion for and miracle of seeds. She was also a Sunday morning speaker from afar in those uncertain days when we didn't know if it was safe to gather in too great of numbers. Petra sent a video sermon, and I have to say that her energy came through even with those technological limitations. So when she contacted me about the possibility of hosting a seed sharing event, which will follow the service and coffee hour, which you'll be reminded of a little later, I thought it would be swell for her to share the context of her adventures moving into a gift economy. Petra will be sharing her thoughts momentarily, but I thought we would begin with a short video clip of Robin Wall Kimmerer. Maybe you know her best from Braiding Sweetgrass. She's the author of that, sharing some insights about the magic of the gift economy.
The inspiration for the service-bearing essay really comes from the notion of the abundance and generosity of the earth. When I am picking berries. I mean, look at these. Yet you're struck by the creativity, the generosity of the living world, and the way that these gifts of berries ripple out into the world. So I'm deeply interested in biomimicry, in how can we learn from the plants about how we might ripple our gifts into the world, kind of modeled after the way that the plants were. And so service berries or June berries or Saskatoons, they have so many
Buzz,
different names.
that music
To be able
shouldn't be
to
there.
Teachers to help explore.
There's music.
What does it mean to be a gift to the land? One of the delights of being with the service berries is that you are with birds. There are goldfinches, there are cedar waxwings, there are catbirds in here, there are so many robins. Everybody is here to partake of this feast. And that's part of the lesson too, to know that these gifts are not just for us, that these are gifts that fuel biodiversity, that fuel the wellness of the world. And therefore, how can we support the proliferation of those?
Sorry about the phantom music. It is now my pleasure to offer our pulpit to Petra Page-Mann.
Thank you, Michelle, and thank you all, and happy spring, dare I say. Can you all hear me? Yes. Oh, thank you. And was it just winter? I mean, did any of you see snowflakes this morning? Can we all be in our bodies for a moment and feel what it was like to be that seed in the winter? When it was cold and our bodies were more contained and perhaps closed and still, and feeling the earth all around us, but feeling that quietness perhaps so deeply. And let's now imagine spring, as spring comes, as the earth begins to thaw and our seed coats, so hard and protective, begin to soften. And what does that feel like in our bodies as we soften? Can you move your shoulders a little bit? And perhaps your neck a little bit too. And can you feel as you begin to loosen your seed coat? Fun facts, seeds, all seeds from the tiniest snapdragons to the biggest coconuts, they send out their roots first. So let's feel our roots, thank you. Let's feel our roots growing from our feet. Let's feel the gravity of the earth holding us always. Thank you, earth. And as we feel held by the earth beneath our feet, by our roots connecting with mycelium and so many other beings, we have the courage now to send our shoots upward. So let's, if you feel so moved, move those shoots of your arms to the sky and toward the east, welcoming the sun, and to the west, acknowledging that change is welcome also. And thank you for being part of the spring happening in the world, including the spring happening in my soul today. I would love to now invite us all to sing a song together. And I'll sing a line, and please sing it back to me. And I would also love to name that not everyone loves to sing, and maybe you're like me and you've had someone at some point in your life say, "You don't have the best voice. Could you pipe down?" And I would love to invite whoever told you that to bring their fullness and their wholeness here with us today and feel that they can feel loved and welcome here in their voice. And I'd love to invite all the parts of you who are here today to also bring that voice as well, knowing that we all need each other as seeds in a garden, as seeds in a tower garden. So thank you for bringing your voice as you feel so able, knowing that your silence, your witness, and enjoying the music around you is also active participation. And I honor this as well. So I'll sing a line, and thanks for singing it back to me. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open to the possibility. Aye, aye, aye. Aye, 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 aye. Aye, aye, aye. Thank you for raising your voices in song, and thank you for receiving some seeds. And here, Michelle, could I ask you to pick up the bowl and the empty seed packets? And we'll start on one side of the room, a bowl of seeds we will pass around. On the other side of the room, empty packets we will pass around. And as you see these seeds, let's have a little practical logistical moment. Please start over here. And I don't know your names. In the pink jacket, what is your name?
Gail.
Gail. Yeah. So Gail, thank you for putting into the hands of your neighbor a little bit of seeds. It could be 5, it could be 55, whatever you feel so called. And then thank you for giving that bowl to the next person, and that person will gift you seeds as well. And we'll just keep that bowl moving around the space until we all have seeds in our hands. Some of you will need to rise, and thank you for rising as you feel so able and called. And as you look at these seeds, and thank you also for sharing the packets in a similar way so that we are gifting each other packets as we go. Yes, and as you look at these seeds, we will have some further moments of reflection with them, and wanting to invite you, as you witness this bowl in your hands, you'll see the smaller, more spherical, darker seeds that we'll be receiving today. But take a look at that cob of corn here today too. And I hope in that, as you witness the diversity of that ear of corn, that you also take a look at the diversity of those other seeds in your hands, and seeing that some diversity is easy to see and other diversity is less easy to see. And honoring that every single one of these seeds, like each one of us, is unique in the world, has never existed before, will never exist again, that they are all living, breathing beings with countless ancestors just like you and I, and may become ancestors just like you and I. And what a gift that we all are here with all of that wisdom and possibility. And as they pass around, hi, my name is Petra. And I am so grateful to be alive in these times, and I am so grateful to be here right now. I am so grateful to be my father's daughter. I grew up in my father's garden in the Finger Lakes, the southern edge of Canandaigua Lake. And in my father, we grew lots of tomatoes and beans, and we also saved seeds of tomatoes and beans because, we wanted to grow more tomatoes and beans next year. And I love imagining conversations with my perhaps 7-year-old self. And I think that she would have been really confused why I was asking so many questions about gardens and so many questions about seeds, because I just took for granted that I brushed my teeth. Of course we brush our teeth. I took for granted that, yes, we love to walk in the forest because we all love to walk, and we love to save seeds because if we want to sow seeds next year, well, we save them. And then how many of you have saved seeds perhaps from a tomato? Yes. And so when you save all the seeds in a tomato fruit, you have way more seeds than you know what to do with in your own personal garden next year. And so then you have all of these extra seeds that you don't need that then you perhaps want to share. And so then you give them to friends, and if you don't have enough friends, then you have new friends because you are finding homes for those seeds too. And so I love saving seeds in my father's garden. We would make all these little envelopes out of the glossy pages of National Geographic magazines, and we would just gift them to people around holidays and so for birthdays, to be sure, but also just, hello, thanks for having us over for dinner. Here's some marigold seeds, and just in general, they just came with us as gifts. And fast forward, I spent a decade on other people's farms growing seeds for seed companies like Johnny's and High Mowing, and I really enjoyed learning how to save seeds of lots of other vegetables, flowers, and herbs, and at much larger scales. And I really loved learning about regional adaptation as well, because I thought when I was a little girl in my father's garden that we couldn't grow watermelon here. I mean, we could grow the plants, but we wouldn't really grow and eat watermelon because I thought our season was too short. And turns out I was right. With the seeds that my father had access to from big box stores, and they were, I didn't know at the time, really well selected for the Central Valley of California, where the vast majority of seeds, watermelons, and seeds are grown commercially in our time. But turns out there's other seeds adapted for other places. So cream of Saskatchewan and all kinds of other watermelons with different kinds of seeds, we have a really different experience. And so fast forward, I am really committed to other little people of all ages being able to grow watermelons and whatever else they might like to grow. And so fast forward 13 years ago, my partner Matthew and I co-founded Fruition Seeds, where we grow regionally adapted vegetables, flowers, and herbs, growing, yes, the watermelons, but really growing them for the seeds, to share the seeds with everyone that we know. And also, then there just happens to be lots of watermelons involved. So any of you been to our watermelon party at the end of August? Well, this is your cordial invitation. Every year at the end of August, we have a huge party, and we grow hundreds of cantaloupes and hundreds of melons, watermelons, and we just eat melon all day and save seeds all day too. So we have lots of events on our farm, and we won't stop for a long time, and you're welcome to join us. But fast forward, when I started growing and then selling seeds, I started to sell them 13 years ago because I didn't want to get another job. And it was hard. Even though I had worked on other people's farms growing seeds for a decade, I hadn't had the actual experience of giving people seeds and receiving dollars as a one-for-one expectation around that exchange. And it was initially a very large crisis, to be honest with you, because I'd gifted hundreds and hundreds of seed packets across my childhood, and just understood that in the same way that, can you imagine if your mother had charged you for her breast milk? And can you imagine if this beautiful sanctuary was charging you for every breath of air that you were taking? Can you imagine if you bought water, if someone tried to sell you water? Can you imagine if I tried to sell you seeds? And I did, because I wanted to survive. And maybe you also have made choices that were hard and didn't feel right, but you didn't know how to otherwise survive. And then it became a game. I love paradox. Would love to name that I grew up Unitarian Universalist, tears in my eyes. I will always be so thankful. And so I grew up honoring paradox at really profound levels. And so I came to really appreciate the paradox of, I value myself, I value these seeds perhaps even more. And if the locus of value and power in our time is the dollar, you will value me and you will value these seeds by exchanging dollars. And also we can do other culture work alongside. And so I genuinely was energized by the paradox of being a bridge people in this bridge time. Until a few years ago when I realized that I was burned out. And something happens, you know, how many of you have been burned out, right? And one of my understandings of burnout is that you just need to step back from all the pressure, all the responsibility, and nourish your nervous system, and that at a certain point you'll be able to step back in and you'll be able to do approximately what you were doing before, and you'll have the capacity. And so Matthew and I went on a sabbatical, a 6-month sabbatical. And we returned. And this is such an abbreviated, short story. There's so much more nuance, you know this. But we returned, and we realized slowly and quickly all at once that we weren't burned out. We were heartbroken. And that we couldn't step back into what we had been doing. And it took us a year and a half to have the courage and find the ways. We still don't pretend to have a way, but to find the courage and the trust in our community, in you all, in ourselves, in the seeds, that we could do something really differently. And so last year we chose to stop selling seeds, to stop pretending that we could, that you could buy them. And instead, we are committing ourselves to gifting seeds. So instead of growing, selling, shipping seeds, we are growing and gifting them. I'm so honored to gift you these seeds today. By the way, are those seeds and packets still finding their ways around?
They didn't get over here.
They're still moving. Wonderful. Thank you for continuing to move, and no rush. There is plenty of time and seeds for us all. And yeah, so I would love to just thank you all, any of you who have especially purchased seeds from us in the past, for engaging in this paradox as well. And I know that you didn't purchase those seeds thinking that you were purchasing life and commodifying those seeds and commodifying me. And I know that I didn't sell them to you thinking that I could sell you seeds. And I don't want just your dollars. In this time of transition, it's very tender because our seeds used to be very convenient. You used to be able to go on our website and just put them in a shopping cart, if you will, and you could click buttons and they would magically arrive on your doorstep. And I grieve that that convenience and access is no longer possible. But what I endeavor to explore with this you here today, and for all the days we may yet share together to come, is that what you hunger for, what I hunger for, is maybe not just a packet of seeds or $4 for that packet of seeds. We might have needs beyond the carrots and the dollars that bought the carrots. And that's a hunger that I would feed, that I would endeavor to be fed by. And so in this, I am just inviting you into receiving these seeds as gifts. They're not mine for me to give. They're not yours for you to receive. They are ours to share, for us all to share. And in the same way that these seeds are only for a short time going to be these tiny little spheres in your packets, in your pockets, they're going to find their ways into the ground, and they're going to utterly transform, being utterly unrecognizable in 2 days after you sow them, in 2 months after you sow them. And that maybe we too can change. And maybe we also can't have an imagination fully for what we may yet become. But if we can learn to trust together that we can soften our seed coats, try on different kinds of living and trusting and loving, that maybe there's a more delicious possible world for us all. And yeah, we're still moving around, yes. Wonderful. So I will just would love to invite you again in another way to our farm. Have any of you been to our farm before? We're exactly 2 hours away, which is so close and yet so far. And it means so much to me that so many of you have actually come. And we have a beautiful farm in Naples. And it's very important for us to know that this is not our farm, that it is all of our farm. And so when people ask if I have children, I say yes, and great-great-great-great-grandchildren. And we put them in packets. And if I think they have a sense of humor, I say, and we eat them, and you can too. And I always say, whether I think they have a sense of humor or not, that they grow us more than we grow them. And so I like to say now, in our 13th year of growing on this land, just a few miles away from that garden I grew up in with my father, that we are a 13th generation farm. That we are centering the generations of tomatoes and cilantro and zinnias and callaloo more than we are centering our human generations. And in that time, we have had the wettest season on record and the driest season on record for our county. Also the warmest and the coldest. And so it feels even more imperative to me to be sharing, to be growing, to be co-adapting alongside with these seeds, as so much is changing in our atmospheric climate and our political climates, as I am changing in the own climate of my own tastes and joys and needs and dreams. And so I'm so honored to be actively co-adapting with these seeds, as all of our ancestors have done for tens of thousands of years. And I think of these seeds, of these plants, as my mentors, and not in small ways. I'd love to just back up for a moment, because can we just remember, that we are on this watery sphere of rock spiraling through space, and this last 4.5 billion years we've been at this project of what we now call planet Earth. And 3 billion years ago, what most scientists would agree as life emerged with cyanobacteria, these single cell beings in the ocean that somehow, utter magic, were able to synthesize sugars from sunlight. Such serious alchemy. And another 1 billion years later, they crawled out of the ocean and came to land. And from those single cells of cyanobacteria, and then those single spores, cell spores of the mosses and the ferns and the liverworts, then 370 million years ago, seeds emerged, which had way more cells than one and had a whole hard seed coat where they could actually stay as a seed for much, much longer. They didn't need to just land somewhere where they either grew or not, period. They could actually stay alive in more diverse climates for much longer. And so suddenly, have you ever been to a place where there weren't plants? They are all over in the oceans, the highest mountains, and thank goodness they have, for the last 400 million years, also been, offering themselves as seeds that travel on the wind, that get stuck in the soft fur of rabbits. And I think of myself as just another seed dispersal mechanism, really. And loving to name in this that our ancestors, our earliest hominid ancestors, 2 million years, 2.5, depending who you ask, and 200,000 years is the time that our species has been exploring our life as a species. And so our 200,000 years compared to the last 370 of seeds, 370 million. And so I remember back when I was a child, and perhaps you can relate, putting on my mother's, big shoes and wobbling around in her heels and putting on her big fancy jewelry when she would let me, and pretending that I was the adult. And I think, and I feel that way when I'm in our garden as well. where am I the one that's planting the seeds? I'm the one that's making the garden plan. I'm the one that is planting these plants and doing the tending, trellising, the water, the weeding. I am the gardener. And I love to humble myself at the feet, at the soil level, at the root level of these beings who have accompanied each one of our ancestors for the entire life of our species lineage. Their bodies, our own. How many of you ate today? What a miracle. Not all of us are so fortunate. And may with every seed that we sow, every breath that we take, feel our connectedness to the generosity of plants. Feel our deep belonging. They haven't forgotten us. They haven't given up on us. Even though over 80% of the genetic diversity of our agricultural crops has disappeared in the last century, they are still here with us today. They haven't given up on us, and I have to choose. Sometimes it's a hard choice, but I am not giving up on us yet either. I think, oh my gosh, we are right at that moment. So thank you all for receiving these seeds in your hands. And I would love to invite you now to take a peek at them. And if you've put them in seed packets, that's okay. Take them out of the seed packet. You can open up and they can grow. And then that packet will close again. So thank you if you have put them in the packet, putting a few back in your hand once more. And together, let's take a look at those seeds. But first, can we step back? How many of you have experienced tiny little babies in your life? And maybe new members of your family, maybe your own children. And let's remember back to welcoming our newest members of our families in their young life. And can you remember with me? Maybe you're like me and just drink in every exquisite detail of their bodies, the curve of their eyelashes and the tininess of their fingernails, the softness of their skin. And so with that same adoration and love and awe and wonder, I would love to invite you to look at these seeds in your hands and get to know every little detail. They might look a similar color at first, but take a look at how many colors brown they are. I remember once my 6-year-old niece, Charlie, asked me what my favorite color was, and I said brown, and she definitely looked at me like I had 3 heads, and I was like, no, really. And for the next 3 days, we were on the coast of Connecticut. And the next 3 days, we just wandered around the coast and the forests and the marshes, looking at all the colors brown, and by the end of the weekend, she agreed brown is a really lovely color, and not just one. And so anyhow, look at all of these colors of these seeds in your hands, and they kind of look like spheres, but our sphere of planet Earth is not completely round, and neither are these seeds. And I am different on one side than I am on the other side. So I'd love to invite you down to, if you haven't already, turn those seeds over in your hands with your fingers. Just roll over them and get to know their front side and their back sides. And as you feel them, if you feel so moved, to close your eyes and to feel them between your thumb and forefinger and feel that softness, yet the firmness and the smoothness. And can you imagine the love that you have for those youngest babes in your life? And as you watch them grow, imagine that love of our grandparents and our grandparents' grandparents, all amplified through the generations. And imagine that love amplified the last 50 generations. And now the last 500 generations. And imagine that all of these seeds in your hands also have a lineage of love. And all of those ancestors somehow survived unthinkable perils of their time and also rejoiced in spring, in warmth and birdsong. And feel in your hands. They're so light, but the weight of all of that past, so present. That is everything yet to come. And thank you for meeting the next member of your family. And now, if you would love to put them in your packet, please do. And as you tuck them in that packet, feel free to turn that packet around and to the front side and take a peek, because I don't know, but diversity is really important. It's kind of the foundation of resilience. And take a look at that photo on the front. No two seeds are the same, no two of us are the same, and certainly no two seeds in this packet are the same. And take a look. I had a lot of fun making this packet, because usually if it's a carrot, I say carrot, and then the variety name. But this is a cabbage collard cross. And so it doesn't fit into a neat category. Maybe you don't fit into all the neat categories of society either. I love those parts of you especially. And in this, there's so much more to say, but we crossed a cabbage and a collard. They share the same common ancestor, this small, waxy leaf that grew on the cliffs of the Mediterranean. That now, all dogs are the same genus species, right? So same too, Brassica oleracea is cabbage and collards, and kale, and cauliflower, and broccoli, and Brussels sprouts. There's so much diversity from the same genus species, so we can cross them all. We like to play with our food, all to say, there's so much more to say. As you plant these seeds, 50% of them will make a beautiful head of cabbage on the top. And how many of you have grown cabbage before? A few? Amazing. Well, now you know. If you grow cabbage, you harvest the cabbage, but the leaves below, and there are many, are quite tough and pretty leathery, and you can technically eat them, especially if you have enough curry. Thank you. And so yes, I am so clear that if I was so hungry, I would eat those cabbage leaves. But what's special about these seeds now in your hands is that 50% will make the cabbage, but 100% of the leaves are the sweetest, most tender collards you've ever eaten also. So just like us, they are exploring how to be different in the world and just looking for a little permission. So I would love to invite us now to sing this song again, because what is mine and what is yours? These seeds aren't mine to give you, they're not yours to receive. And as we sing this song again, we're going to share these seeds with our neighbors. And some of us might need to get up, and it might be awkward, and also, spoiler alert, some of us will end the song with lots of seed packets in our hands, others of us with no seeds packets in our hands. Have you ever heard of unequal wealth distribution? And so we will actively be able to practice today what that looks like. As we finish the song, those of us who need seed packets will raise our hands. Those of us with lots of seed packets in our hands will go find them. And in this way, we are already sharing and practicing, remembering and reimagining the abundance that is each seed and each of us. So yes, I'll sing a line and sing it back, and feel free to just move around as you feel so called and just exchange seed packets with people around you. Be open for something wonderful to happen.
Be open for something wonderful to happen.
Be open to the possibility. Be open to the possibility. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open for something wonderful to happen. Be open to the possibility. Be open to the possibility. Aye, 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 aye. Thank you, friends. Beautiful. And how many of you have more than one seed packet? Amazing. How many of you need a seed packet? Oh, amazing. If you have more than one seed packet, thank you for finding your way to someone with their hand in the air who needs a seed packet. Look at us practicing. We have so much to share. I hope as many of you who are able to stay and join us for our seed gifting gathering this afternoon from 1 to 3, we'll be diving so much deeper into all of these facets and receiving over 300 varieties of vegetables, herbs, and flowers from our farm. And if you're not able to join us today, also if you'd just like to join us again and again and again, you can find us at our farm in Naples. And I'll leave a little sheet of paper in the back if you'd love to receive our email invitations to feel and breathe and sow and also be in deeper community with us. So thank you again to Michelle and you all for welcoming me today.
When I Am Among the Trees by Mary Oliver. When I am among the trees, especially the willows and the honey locust, equally the beech, the oaks, and the pines, they give off such hints of gladness. I would almost say that they save me, and daily. I am so distant from the hope of myself in which I have goodness and discernment, and never hurry through the world, but walk slowly and bow often. Around me the trees stir in their leaves and call out, "Stay a while." The light flows from their branches, and they call again. "It's simple," they say. And you too have come into the world to do this, to go easy, to be filled with light, and to shine. Our song and response can be found in the Gray Hymnal, number 121, "We'll Build a Land." Again, there are some substituted lyrics in the chorus. We are substituting "people together" for the lyric "sisters and brothers." So when in doubt, just watch the sides up front, and then all you have to do now is rise in body or spirit and sing with all you got. Thank you. You may be seated. Making time for an offering of gifts and pledges is an act of faith. Our generosity connects us to one another in relationships of interdependence and mutuality. UU Amherst is supported solely by the generosity of friends and members. We do not receive funds from the national organization. Occasionally, we receive grant monies from other UU and community groups, but those funds are earmarked for special projects. We depend on your sustaining generosity to continue to be a voice for justice and compassion in our larger community. We know that we pick fruit from trees we did not plant. We drink water from wells we did not dig, and that is as it should be, so long as we will dig and plant for those who will come after us. The offering will now be gratefully received. We began our service with the lighting of our chalice, and now we extinguish the chalice, not to quench the flame, but to return it to individual hearts, strengthened by this time spent together, so that we can share our light in the world. Are you ready to do this? Very good. You can either use the thingy or blow it out, whatever makes you happiest. Please join me in our chalice extinguishing words. We extinguish this flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again. Thank you. As our service draws to an end, our service to the world is ready to begin. I have teeny tiny announcements because I know that your caffeine level is dangerously low. I see you. I see you. 2 more minutes. Coffee. All are invited to stay for coffee and conversation in the Emerson room, which is through the double doors, either directly through this space, or if you go in the lobby, just keep looking for double doors. They will almost always take you to where the coffee is. Parents, I think your children have been delivered for the most part, but do remember that there is a child-friendly zone at the far end of the room, just to make it a little easier for kids to be having some fun in there. Looking ahead to Easter, I know it just turned spring, and here we are, just thinking ahead. So Easter's going to be super fun, first of all, because there's going to be just so much fun after the service with egg hunt and, yeah, all the things. You'll be hearing more about the details of those things coming soon. But as part of our Easter service, there will be a time to dedicate children into our midst. So if you have children or grandchildren that you would like to have dedicated, just see me after the service, drop me an email, let me know. And finally, if UU Amherst is starting to feel like home, perhaps that's because you've been here 60 minutes, and maybe it's because you've been coming here for 60 weeks and everything in between, even longer. Just talk to me about what it is to become a member and plant your seeds with us. Not the seeds in your packets, that was a metaphor. I invite you to rise and body your spirit as we sing our closing blessing. And don't forget, third verse, look around and twinkle your eyes, which will pull your face into a smile, and we'll all be blessed. We close this time together with words from Reverend Eric Walker Wickstrom. May we listen so that we can hear. May we hear so that we can feel. May we feel so that we can know. And may we know so that we can change ourselves and the world. And I would add, go in peace, make a difference.
So this is on the timer. This timer right here. And it'll turn itself off. The pump is on a timer.
Okay.
So it is. So these are in my basement. I'm going to come in on Tuesday and get the plants.
Okay.
And
These are seeds you supply or they supply you?